The room smelled of money and roses. Every wall shimmered with gold light, but the air was heavy with quiet judgment. The makeup artist stood alone, her hands steady though her heart trembled beneath the surface. The bride's laughter sliced through the calm. Loud, sharp, the kind that mocked, not amused. Eyes turned, whispers bloomed. She kept painting beauty on a face that saw her as less. In that moment, silence felt heavier than sound. Behind the bride's reflection, the makeup artist caught her own. Calm, proud, unshaken. But the question lingered like perfume. How long can dignity survive when it's dressed in disrespect? The laughter fades, but the echo lingers. She continues working, each stroke a shield. Around her, murmurs crawl like insects, soft but biting. The bride checks her reflection, twisting her lips as though beauty had betrayed her. Somewhere between pride and pain, the artist breathes. The scent of powder and perfume fills the air, but underneath it all lies something sour, the sting of being seen, yet unseen. Whispers spread like perfume, carried by vanity and fear. The makeup artist moves with practiced grace, her silence louder than any defense. The bride's mother whispers to her daughter, their eyes flickering toward the artist's hands. A small silver clasp glints from a necklace nearby, forgotten, unnoticed. The room feels staged, each expression rehearsed, yet one truth waits to be exposed. A breath of chaos enters when the necklace disappears. Panic sharpens every voice. Suspicion turns quick and cruel. Eyes swing toward the quiet artist. No proof, only assumptions. And in this room, her skin speaks louder than her truth. She stands still as hands search her bag. The moment stretches, cruel and endless, before gasps fill the silence. There it is. The necklace, glittering in her tools of trade. Silence swallows the room. The artist's breath trembles, but her eyes do not. The laughter that once filled the air now feels cruelly hollow. No one speaks, yet everyone accuses. She looks at her own reflection, not broken, but tired. Behind her, the bride turns away, pretending shame is not hers to carry. Somewhere outside, church bells begin to ring. The noise hit like thunder, gasps, whispers, accusations too quick to form words. The artist stood in the center of the storm, her chest still but her heart racing behind her calm eyes. The diamond necklace gleamed like guilt in her open bag, though her hands had never touched it. Every look around her turned sharp, like glass. The bride's mother hissed something about trust and standards, while the bride herself folded her arms, proud in her victory of cruelty. Yet the artist's silence spoke louder than all of them, not fear, but disbelief. How easily people decide who deserves blame when skin writes its own story. Words slice through the air, each one sharper than the last. She doesn't defend herself, not yet. Every explanation she's ever given before had already been ignored. She just stands, waiting for them to finish writing her guilt. The bride's voice rises above the others, dripping with triumph and mock innocence. To her, this isn't about theft. It's about power, and the thrill of seeing someone crumble. But she doesn't. The artist's chin stays high, her silence echoing louder than their judgment. When no one listens, the truth hides behind silence. The artist breathes slowly, her eyes finding the mirror again. In it, she sees two worlds. One, dressed in privilege, another in patience. The bride tosses her hair, muttering about ungrateful help. The mother nods, satisfied, while the photographer lowers his camera, his lens capturing not vanity now, but injustice. Somewhere deep inside him, something shifts. The image of a woman accused for nothing, framed perfectly by hate. The moment cracks when he speaks, the only voice willing to question what everyone accepted too quickly. His words are calm but weighted. Are you sure she took it? The room stills. fragile as crystal. The bride laughs, but the sound falters. The mother frowns. The manager steps closer, uneasy. The artist's eyes flick toward him, not with gratitude, but recognition. Someone else who's been here before. Someone who understands the quiet ache of being doubted for the color you wear. The photographer scrolls through his camera, frame by frame, until one photo freezes the air. There, in crystal focus, the truth gleams. The necklace lying on the vanity long after the artist finished her work. Gasps echo. The bride's face drains of color. The mother's lips part in disbelief. The artist doesn't move. She doesn't need to. The silence shifts from accusation to shame. No words are enough, yet her eyes say everything. Forgiveness, exhaustion, and the quiet pride of surviving what they thought would break her. The silence feels heavier than the accusation ever did. The bride's mother lowers the necklace, her face pale, her voice trembling with disbelief. The photographer's photo burns through every lie that had just been spoken. The artist doesn't gloat, doesn't cry. She simply exhales, slow and steady, as if releasing years of swallowed pain. Around her, the truth floats like dust in sunlight. Quiet, undeniable. The bride's reflection in the mirror seems smaller now, fragile. She tries to laugh, but no sound comes. It's the first time silence has ever made her feel poor. Truth is quiet. It doesn't need to shout. The photo said everything no one wanted to believe. The artist's innocence was proof, but the pain of being doubted left its mark deeper than apology could ever reach. The bride's hand trembles as she reaches for the necklace, her voice shaking as she whispers a small, broken, "Sorry." The word sounds strange in her mouth, like a language she's never spoken. The artist only nods. No revenge, no anger, just a quiet knowing that grace can be its own kind of power. The wedding planner enters, unaware of what has happened, chirping about flowers and guests. But her words fade as she sees the scene, the necklace in the mother's hand, the trembling bride, the silent artist standing tall. The air itself has changed. Pride, once perfume sweet, now stings like smoke. The mother finally speaks, her voice low, her tone stripped of its sharpness. She asks how she can fix what she's broken. The artist doesn't answer. Some wounds aren't for fixing, only for learning. Outside the bridal suite, music begins. Strings tuning, guests laughing. Life continues as if truth and lies haven't just collided inside this room. The artist closes her kit slowly, each brush a memory of calm amid cruelty. The bride watches, guilt pressing her chest like a weight. She opens her mouth, but the words never come. The artist turns toward the door, walking past all of them. No one stops her. She doesn't look back. Dignity, she knows now, doesn't ask permission to leave. The hall outside smells of roses and champagne, but she doesn't feel the celebration anymore. Each step she takes feels lighter, though her heart carries the weight of every word spoken against her. Behind her, the room stays silent, trapped in its shame. She walks toward the exit, toward air that feels honest. The music fades, the doors close, and for the first time she smiles. Not because she won, but because she never lost herself. The wedding begins, but joy feels forced, fragile. Beneath the music and laughter lies something cold, unspoken. The bride smiles for the guests, her face painted to perfection. Yet inside she feels the crack of shame beneath her beauty. Each flash of the camera reminds her of the moment truth burned through her lie. The artist's absence fills the room louder than any song. Every flower, every diamond, every whispered toast feels like a mask she can no longer wear. Guilt doesn't fade beneath perfume. It lingers heavy, reminding her that grace once stood before her and she failed to see it. As vows are spoken, her voice shakes. The groom doesn't notice, but everyone who witnessed the morning's cruelty does. The music swells, but the sound feels hollow, like pretending happiness into existence. She forces a smile, every laugh rehearsed, every gesture heavy. In the back of her mind, she sees the artist's calm face, unbothered, forgiving. That image haunts her more than any accusation could. She wonders what it feels like to be that strong, to forgive what others would never forget. After the ceremony, the bride retreats to her dressing room, her gown heavy and her heart heavier. The laughter outside feels like another language she can't speak anymore. Her mother enters, her smile brittle, pretending nothing happened. But the bride can't pretend. Her reflection looks back at her with tired eyes, mascara smudged, perfection cracked. She finally whispers, "I was wrong." The mother stiffens, but doesn't respond. Pride has no words for regret. The bride turns away, wishing she could undo what arrogance built. Later that evening, she finds it. A folded note resting beneath the mirror where the artist once stood. The handwriting is neat, graceful. "Thank you for letting me do your makeup. I hope your wedding is as beautiful as you are inside." Her throat tightens. She reads it again and again, each word cutting deeper than any insult could. The artist's kindness becomes a mirror, reflecting everything she tried to hide. Tears fall freely this time, not for the necklace, not for embarrassment, but for the woman she refused to see as equal. Outside, the music plays on, but inside, she kneels, down pooled around her like ashes. For the first time, she feels small in a way that humbles, not hurts. The note trembles in her fingers. She realizes forgiveness isn't a gift you earn. It's one you're given when you least deserve it. The bride looks into the mirror again, not at her face, but at her soul, and the reflection doesn't laugh anymore. It listens, and maybe for the first time it learns. Months pass. The air has changed, softer, kinder. Time doesn't erase what happened, but it teaches what pride could not. In a small downtown studio, mirrors gleam under warm morning light, and laughter fills the air again, genuine this time. The artist, once humiliated, now stands surrounded by her own success. Every face she touches glows with trust, not judgment. Her hands, the same ones once searched in suspicion, now shape confidence in others. Outside, life moves on, but inside, the space hums with quiet power, the kind that blooms after surviving injustice and refusing to bow to bitterness. One afternoon, a familiar figure appears at the doorway, the bride, no longer wrapped in silk and diamonds, just a woman in plain clothes, holding a small bouquet of lilies. Their eyes meet, and the air stills. She doesn't speak at first. She doesn't need to. The past lingers between them like a fragile thread, yet it doesn't burn anymore. The artist nods politely, offering a seat. Forgiveness doesn't demand words. Sometimes it's just the willingness to stay in the same room again. She sits down, fumbling for words, but all that escapes is a trembling. "I'm sorry." The artist listens. No anger, no triumph, just stillness. The apology hangs between them, fragile yet honest. The artist finally says, "I know." 2 words, simple and complete. No bitterness, no need to relive the wound. Sometimes peace isn't loud. It's quiet acceptance that life gave both of them a lesson they couldn't have learned any other way. Their silence turns gentle. The bride glances around at the photographs on the wall. Women of all shades, all smiles, all beautiful. She finally understands what true beauty means. Not perfection, but grace under pain. She leaves the bouquet on the counter, stands, and looks the artist in the eyes one last time. "Thank you," she whispers. "It's not just for makeup, it's for mercy." The artist smiles, not because she won, but because hate lost its hold on both of them. When the door closes, the artist exhales, her reflection meeting her gaze in the mirror. For the first time, she feels entirely free. not from others, but from the weight they tried to place on. Outside, the city hums with life, unaware of the quiet miracle that just unfolded inside. She returns to her work, her hands steady, her heart open. Some stories end with justice, others end with peace. This one ends with both. Weeks later, her studio blooms with life, a sanctuary for women who've known doubt, who've been overlooked, who want to see themselves again. She no longer carries the weight of what happened. Instead, she wears it like armor made of lessons. Every smile she restores feels like a thread mending something unseen. People whisper her name now, not with pity, but respect. Across town, the bride's world looks different too. Smaller, simpler, and finally real. What once divided them now feels like distance from an old life they've both outgrown. Elsewhere, the bride sits at her kitchen table, the morning light cutting through half-drawn blinds. Her world has changed. Fewer parties, fewer friends, but more truth. She's learning to listen, to notice, to question the things she once accepted without thought. Sometimes she replays that day in her head, not as punishment but as a reminder. Kindness can expose cruelty faster than anger ever could. She still wears her wedding ring, but it doesn't sparkle like it used to. Some things shine brighter when you've learned humility. Back at the studio, the photographer arrives. He's carrying a small box wrapped in gold paper. Inside, a framed photo. The one that changed everything. The artist laughs softly when she sees it. The image of her reflection beside the bride's, two women caught between judgment and grace. They stand together now, the memory softened by time. "You should hang it," he says. She smiles and shakes her head. "No," she replies, "I don't need reminders. I live them." The moment feels warm, alive. Two people bonded by the truth they chose to see. Later that day, she hosts a free beauty class for young women. Not about makeup, but about confidence. Her voice is gentle but sure, her words soaked in experience. "You are not what they call you," she says. "You are what you believe you can be." The girls listen, eyes wide, soaking every word. The room fills with laughter, stories, and light. For the first time, the artist realizes her purpose was never just beauty. It was healing. And in helping others rise, she's finally found her own peace. When evening comes, the studio grows quiet again. She locks up, steps outside, and watches the sunset paint the sky in gold and rose. She breathes deeply, knowing she's not just survived, she's transformed. Across town, maybe the bride looks up at the same sky, feeling that same light touch her too. Two lives, once divided by cruelty, now connected by change. Forgiveness, it turns out, doesn't just free the forgiven, it frees the forgiver too. Years later, time has gentled everything. The city has changed, yet her studio still stands. A small beacon of light tucked between gray buildings. The world has learned her name, not because of scandal, but because of strength. Her work now graces magazines, weddings, and lives she's helped heal. Yet she stays humble, remembering where her peace was tested and her spirit proved unbreakable. In the quiet before another busy day, she looks in the mirror. Not to perfect her reflection, but to thank the woman staring back for surviving with grace. On this morning, the door opens, softly, respectfully. A little girl steps in holding her mother's hand. The mother smiles shyly, her blonde hair shorter. Now, her blue eyes humbled but kind. It takes only a second for the artist to recognize her. They don't speak of the past. They don't need to. The child looks up and grins, saying, "Mommy says you make people feel beautiful." The artist kneels, smiling back. "Only if they already are," she whispers. Forgiveness has come full circle, carried in small footsteps and innocent smiles, as the child sits in the chair, giggling while the artist brushes soft shimmer onto her cheeks. The room feels lighter, then air. The bride-turned mother watches quietly, remembering the day she once used cruelty where gratitude should have been. Her eyes glisten, not with shame this time, but gratitude for second chances. The artist hums softly, her movements graceful. The past no longer separates them, it binds them gently in understanding. The world outside hums, unaware that inside this little studio, two women have rewritten history without words. When they're done, the child jumps down and hugs her mother, twirling to show off her glowing face. Laughter fills the air. Light, real, healing. The mother turns to the artist and says softly, "You've built something beautiful." The artist smiles. "So have you." It's not about makeup or mirrors anymore. It's about truth. About how light looks when it shines through pain and still finds color. Their eyes meet. Two women once torn apart by cruelty, now held together by grace. Later, when the door closes and the laughter fades, the artist stands again before her mirror. The note she once wrote, the one that changed everything, rests framed on the counter now. She reads it sometimes, not to remember pain, but to remember power. The kind that comes from kindness, not anger. The kind that heals without permission. Outside, the city glows in the fading sun. Inside, she whispers a prayer. Not for revenge, not for apology, but for peace to stay. And as the last light fades across her reflection, she finally understands. She was never made to blend in. She was born to shine.